want to play me off for a freaking fool, invite me all the way over here? You're gonna be nothing now but a bitch to me. I don't give a what you say. You don't even deserve this respect as a man.
It never fails to shock me how 1 minute Renee can say the most obscene, disrespectful shit to Chidi. She completely strips him down and whips him vocally. But then, the very next second, she has the nerve to say that she loves him.
Everyone in my life knew how much I loved him. He should have never led me on. He should have never told me. He should have never told me that he loved me.
You know what else everyone in your life knew, Renee? That you live in a completely different world from the rest of us. But before we get into that, let's rewind to the beginning. So we left the pair after Chidi finally got the courage to end things. He finally acknowledged that they're just very different people. They're two different people that will end up inevitably making each other miserable. And while his decision to walk away was a brave, tough decision for him, Renee sees it very differently.
We broke up. It broke my heart. It hurts me to death. But you can't be that stupid. Like, it's all been in front of your face. Like, you led me on for so long. It doesn't even make sense.
Renee's pissed off that Chidi has broken up with her. So in order to try and deflect some of the attention away from her, she's now spouting this theory that Chidi has only been using her this entire time for a visa. But it just doesn't add up, does it? If that were really the case, Renee, then why would he break up with you? Now, given what's happened, at this point, Renee just wants to get out of Nigeria as quickly as possible. So she's rearranged her flight to depart tonight. But one thing is absolutely clear. She's learned nothing from this whole experience.
Because why aren't you coming at me in a loving way? You know, show me you really love me. I feel misled and angry that I've been putting up with his games for so long.
Renee has zero acknowledgement of her own wrongdoing. She has zero accountability. But what she does have in abundance is plenty of blame for other people. Everyone always hurts me constantly, she tells us. But I'm sorry, Renee, what games exactly has Chidi been playing? She tries to claim, right, that Chidi didn't come at her with love. But frankly, that's all we saw him do before, of course, she shut him down whenever she didn't get her own way. And there's no clearer sign of that love, the love that Chidi still holds for her, than the fact that Chidi doesn't want this to end on a sour note.
I haven't seen Chidi since yesterday at the beach, but I texted him to tell him that I'm leaving. And all of a sudden he wanted to come see me, so he's on his way to the hotel right now.
Chidi, mate, why? Things ended. Why do you need to see her again? This grovelling behaviour just reinforces Renee's mistaken belief. It makes her think that she's right to expect an apology from him. It's the least I deserve, she actually has the audacity to say. And as Chidi arrives to her hotel, this, I'm afraid, is where my sympathy for him runs out.
I feel that I must try one more time to speak my mind. I believe this is necessary in order for us to heal and to move on.
Is it? Is it necessary? I don't think it is. All I'm seeing is an absolute glutton for punishment. He's come to her hotel, gift in hand, by the way, and he wants to say his piece to Renee. But it's as if he doesn't know this lady. In what world will she let him do that? Yeah, we all know she's not going to give him the chance to speak. But one person who does know Renee, who's relieved that Renee will no longer be in their lives, is Chidi's sister, Victoria.
I am so relieved that this chapter is over for Chidi, honestly. And I am so proud of my brother for trying to be honest to Renee.
You see that face? That is the face of someone who knows she'll never have to deal with this crazy lady ever again. That's relief, that's glee, that's happiness. Now, Victoria has come along as backup for her brother, just in case Renee gets too aggressive. But she's agreed to wait outside unless needed. She wants to give Chidi his own space to get the job done. But the question still remains, why? Why is he doing this? What does he hope to get from it?
I also want to assure Renee I don't have any qualms with her. I respect and I appreciate her. And I don't want to make her get upset.
Look, I get it, but I don't agree with it. There's a time and a place to act noble, and this isn't it. What Chidi should be doing is thanking his lucky stars. He should be running the opposite direction. But, and I think it's probably due to his religion, maybe this is the Christian thing to do in his mind, he's decided that he wants them to part ways on a good note, which we all know is impossible. I mean, Rayne is hardly a forgiver, is she? This is a woman who's held onto a grudge about a sister that came to her in a dream years ago. So if that's the kind of animosity she retains from a dream, yeah, the chance of her forgiving Chidi for breaking up with her on national TV is zero, less than zero. And just as the icing on the cake, just to top things off, Chidi's behaviour here is actually very confusing.
Chidi,
Yeah, babe.
now you show up. Good?
You're looking good, man.
Thank you.
Calling her babe, telling her that she looks good. What's Chidi playing at? What's his game here? I mean, the guy can't see. Why is he telling her she looks good? And just to make it even more confusing, he's come bearing gifts. He's bought her a dress in what looks to be matching fabric to what he himself is wearing currently. Again, why? And more to the point, why has he also bought her jewellery? For once, I actually understand Rayne's position here. You can't blame her for being confused by all of these mixed signals.
It's weird to me that we just broke up and now he's here with gifts. It's just him wanting to put on an image that he's not the bad guy.
Now, I have absolutely no idea why he felt the need to buy her jewellery or come with gifts, but what I do know is he isn't the bad guy here. He doesn't need to cover his tracks, as Rayne is implying. She calls it manipulative, right? And as Chidi tries to thank her for all of her love over the years, all of the time that she's invested into them, the very mention of everything she's done seems to really trigger Rayne.
I flew a long way and sacrificed a whole lot more than you'd ever imagine to be with you, right? And what do you think's gonna happen now? Why are you doing this?
Look, I'm definitely not on Rayne's side, but I kind of agree with her here. Why is he doing this? I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on what he hopes to achieve here. I don't think it's manipulative, but I think he's just naive. I think he chooses to see the good in people, and that's why he thinks this chat is a good idea. But it really isn't. It's a terrible idea. And now, Chidi only has himself to blame for putting himself back in this position, for putting himself back in Rayne's firing line.
Things had gotten so bad and so messy that...
Why do you make it so messy? I've never done anything to you but reach for you, love you, try to... Wait, let me finish.
No.
I'd like to know. No.
Why did Chidi think that she would magically change? Why did he think that she wouldn't talk all over him like she always does? Has he not learnt his lesson? Has he not had enough of Rayne just constantly always interrupting him, blaming him, being an impossible person to get along with? And for as much as I don't understand Chidi right now, I also don't understand Rayne. I don't understand the story that she's telling herself in her head, like what she thinks has happened to her. Because from the sounds of things, from the way that she's explaining her version of events, she genuinely thinks that she's been lured here and then rejected, abandoned, thrown away. Which really isn't the case at all.
What is so bad about me that you have to put me down the way you do and come up with sour-ass excuses as to why you couldn't even give me the freaking time of day? You're an evil person.
How does Chidi put her down? I feel like I'm the one going crazy here because Rayne says it with such conviction. She wholeheartedly thinks that it's true. But the truth is, we've never seen Chidi put her down even once. Even now, right? For all of her bad behaviour, he's there trying to make sure she knows how much he loved her. Or at least that was his plan. But plans change. Even Chidi has his limits.
I am beginning to lose my patience. The only time...
Go ahead.
The only time I have ever enjoyed this relationship was when we newly met.
Ouch! Chidi is done with Renee. He tried being nice and now he's just ready to be honest. He tells her that in the 5 years that they've been chatting, the only time that he really enjoyed was the very beginning. That, you can be sure, has stung Renee's pride. And we all know how she acts when she's been hurt.
You want to play me off for a freaking fool, invite me all the way over here? You're going to be nothing now but a bitch to me. I don't give a what you say. You don't even deserve this respect as a man.
Chidi tells her that this is the reason, this temper that you have, this inability to communicate, this right here is why I want to break up with you. But Renee isn't ready to hear a word of it. In her mind, in her own little world, she's the victim, she's the one who's been wronged, and no other narrative can possibly exist.
You take your stuff, you go home, your babysitter's right there.
I can't express myself.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
I love you. Bye.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Please let this be it. Please let this be over now. Take those final jabs and be done with it. Never speak to this lady again, Chidi. But do you know what the funniest part of this is? I find it hilarious that even after cussing him out, Renee took with her the gifts that Chidi gave her. It's classic Renee, isn't it? And by this point, even Chidi has realised that she's never gonna change.
Renee will always be Renee. So everything has come to a final end.
Chidi confesses that what he said in the heat of the moment about only enjoying the very beginning of their relationship was in fact 100% true. So why? Why did he put up with this for 5 years then? Well, Chidi himself gives us an explanation. He tells us that he was so happy when she told him she was okay with him being blind. He was so over the moon to have finally found someone who accepts him, disability and all, that sense of acceptance has carried him through the next 5 years. It's sad, isn't it? It's really sad. It's sad that he didn't believe he could do better. It's sad that he felt he had to put up with all of her problems just because she paid lip service. She said the right things once upon a time.
Everyone in my life knew how much I loved him. He should have never led me on. He should have never told me that he loved me.
You might try to convince yourself that you loved him, Renee, but what you had wasn't love. The sooner you can figure that out, the better. But, unfortunately, I don't think Renee is going to be figuring anything out soon. She's completely incapable of changing herself, of taking responsibility, no matter what facts are shoved in her face. So, with that being the case, with all the reports that she's been kicked off the tell-all for all of her crazy behaviour off-screen, the only thing left to say here is goodbye, farewell, the Earth is not a program. Toodles.